Well, it is a brand new day. It is a brand new week, and it is the first nighttime at noon of the brand new year. I'm Ashali Vise and could not be more excited to be with Daren Millard today. Full transparency, we didn't even know that we were going to be together until less than 24 hours ago. So
I have the staff keep it a mystery until I walk in, just to offer a surprise.
And then you decide what kind of mood you're going to be in based on who's smiling.
And usually you can tell. Like if Gosher's sitting there, I'm like, oh, darn it. But that's never happened because Gosher's never beat me to the studio before.
On that note, can we talk about the pregame shows when both Daren Millard and Dave Gosher are on the desk together? Should we let the Nighttime at Noon listeners/viewers in on a little secret in case they don't notice?
Well, hopefully people pick up on it.
I pick up on it. My husband picks up on it.
My wife didn't. So she said, did you and Dave switch seats? I said, yeah. Why? I'm like, well, because we're both sort of hosts. We both know enough about hockey to be the analyst, but our primary role is host, so we share it. So every commercial break that we go to during the pregame shows on the national shows ahead of the national games, I'll host the first segment, and Dave will host the second, and third, and fourth.
But you don't just switch roles. You move seats. And what people might not know is that means unplugging and replugging in an IFB.
Which isn't that big of a deal unless you're Dave. If you're Dave,
Dave's going to the bathroom and getting here with 2 seconds left until you're going on air.
There's 3 people that have problems with that. Dave Gosher, Gary Lawless, and Jeff Sharples.
I get tangled up in cords.
Sharples is a complete hot mess every time he gets hooked up. Like, he's got cords hanging over his shoulder, under his arm. He gets the assistant to come in, and John tries to help him out, and John's looking for things, and he's plugging into the wrong thing, and he just does it once. Dave and John have it down pat, but Dave still needs John. And Gary's got Marcus over at Sydney National Arena in Section 117, and that's a production. I have often said we should record Gary jumping in for Lawless and Order and jumping out. Would be worth its weight in gold. And at the end of pregame shows, you've done them with Gary.
Yes.
Section 117. When you're saying goodbye and you're teeing up the transition to the broadcast booth, Gary's taking off his IFB, the mic's dropping, and he can't wait that 20 extra seconds. Can't wait that 20 extra seconds. We should
tell. We love to give Gary a hard time. We should tell them he's going to join the radio a lot of the time, but it is chaos. So we need to get a hidden camera on that. We need to get. I don't want to say a hidden camera because it's not hidden. There's cameras right in front of us
all the time.
Them. Right, but you can record them. We need to record Shane because a little known fact is that Dave has to go to the bathroom right before he goes on air too. So there's sometimes like a 30-second cushion where Shane's thinking, Shane's
waving.
I might be doing this all by myself.
I feel bad for the floor directors on the road for the road games that don't know the routine.
They have no idea.
Like, where is he? Where's your partner? Where's your buddy? And Shane's always, not my buddy.
Which is funny because they are the best of buddies. And then are you back on the desk with Sharps tomorrow as well?
Tomorrow is Daren Elliott.
Daren Elliott.
And then Marty comes back for 3 games starting on Thursday. So it'll be Elliott and Marty starting on Thursday, kicking off a 3-game run for Alec Martinez.
Well, you know that Alec Martinez will hope that the team has turned things around by then. He's still very close with many of the players. We're going to dive into what we've seen going on with the Golden Knights here recently, but because you brought up the name Alec Martinez, sounds like a good opportunity to just talk about some positivity. How has it been having Alec Martinez on the desk with you?
He's so cool. One, he's a funny guy. Like he is top 5 funniest people that I've ever hung out with and had just random conversations with, and then boom, something will come out of nowhere. Matt Green, a former teammate of Alec Martinez, I always said was the funniest hockey player I'd ever met. And it's funny, Matt Green really mentored Alec Martinez in the LA Kings system, and they continue to be the best of friends now. But Marty, first of all, his sense of humor. You saw a bit of that when he played, when we would talk to him, and he could be dry. He could give it back to you. He could give you just a little quip that would leave you wondering, is he being serious or not? And you're trying to translate that. Always chatting when he wore the microphone for our video team was always very entertaining on that regard. But the thing that I love about Marty is when we sit and watch the period, whether it's at City National Arena or at T-Mobile Arena, he sees the game like nobody I've ever hung out with. And I've watched games with head coaches, and generally they're a little bit reserved. They don't want to overstep their boundaries because they're new to TV and that kind of thing, or former players that think they know the game, but and do, but are sort of trying to they are very eager to overstep. Marty's very intricate, and he just picks out the smallest details. And his list after a period, if I have 12 things, he has 35, and he goes back a minute and a half before a key play. And it doesn't even have to be a goal. It can just be lead to a chance or some type of positive opportunity. And he'll go, that all started there. Can we run it all the way back, Taylor? And Taylor's like, well, we only got 8 minutes in the intermission. We can't run 4-minute clips. But
Wish
Marty,
we could.
Yeah, he is really dialed in. It's been impressive to work with him. And pretty cool transition from right off the ice into playing. It was the Marty Bowl yesterday.
You're right. So excited to welcome Alec Martinez back to the desk.
Yeah, and he's a favorite of yours.
He's always been, always. People always ask, we get asked frequently, who's your favorite player to talk to? And it's always hard to narrow it down. We have 5, right? We have a running list of 5. Running list of 5.
And it's fluid.
I haven't made my running list of 5 this season.
I haven't. It's fluid. Some people drop out every now and then. They usually don't drop out, though. They're pushed out by somebody that's come in or we've met and go, whoa, that person's really good. But right. It's very hard to make our top 5 list.
It is, and it's hard to be as funny as Alec Martinez is. And I remember when he left the team, just telling, he treats everybody like a somebody. And that's not something you get when you work around professional athletes all the time. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights locker room's fantastic at that, but just generally.
Well, you got a standing ovation.
Oh, my gosh.
When you
Next
walked
subject.
in.
Next
no,
subject.
you did.
Next subject.
If people missed it on the pregame show that night, and if you were aware of it, this is worthy of a story that's is worth telling again. But Ashley's first day back after giving birth to young Jameson, and you come back, we hadn't seen you for a couple of months.
Yeah, 8 weeks, yep.
Way too quick, by the way. She walks back into the room, and the guys are all looking around, and one guy's like, Ashley, and then just unprompted,
I don't know
standing
who started
ovation.
A slow clap. I think that was
it was
you.
No, and then
I think
it
Daren
turned
Millard
into a standing ovation. It was one of the most impressive things that I've witnessed from a relationship between the players and a media member.
Well, the players are big fans of Daren Millard. We know that. Alec Martinez was a big fan of Daren Millard.
Don't try and deflect.
Current players. I want to just rewind a couple seasons ago, coming off a tough weekend for the Vegas Golden Knights. There was something you used to do. Was it 3 seasons ago? 4 seasons ago? You had a Daren Millard Bitmoji. That every time it was a rough day or a rough night, you sent this out.
Haven't pulled that out yet.
Yeah, could you share with people? I think now is an appropriate time to pull that out.
It was just like it's going to be a good day. Yeah. Sun shining, and we're going to have a great afternoon. We're going to own this day.
It was a Daren Millard Bitmoji that said it's a new day.
Yeah, and we might be close to that right now, although I feel like just the same situation as earlier in the season, and I talked to Kelly McCrimmon about this, and Bruce Cassidy, where I thought that they played better than they were rewarded, than what the points gained were. This is the same type of situation, at least defensively. Like they aren't giving. Defensively? Yeah, they aren't giving anything up.
15 shots through 3 periods. That's what they allowed yesterday. That's the fewest through 3 periods in franchise history. And they haven't allowed more than 20 shots in the last 3 games. Now, shots do not tell the story of a game. Understand?
But they do. They tell part of it. I think shots allowed are far more accurate than plus minus for an individual player in how that player's participating and producing and performing. But you imagine that you've allowed 20 or less 3 straight games.
Yep.
And you haven't won? And they went through a bit of this last year on the New York trip, where they were allowing nothing and just having trouble breaking through. Now, last year was a little bit more of the goal scoring was in a bit of a flat spot. right now they're just allowing too many. I thought yesterday was big progress in that department. Maybe it came at a cost of producing offense, creating chances, because they only had the 15 shots on goal. But yesterday they didn't give up a lot, and what they did give up, there was a miscommunication on a switch on the first goal, and Bertuzzi was able to fire it home. There was a bit of just a mix-up in net front coverage on the second goal, and the third goal was man-to-man defense in 3-on-3, where Bertuzzi made a great play using the net as a shield to prevent the defender from following him around, and there was the open goal. And they got some breaks yesterday, Ashley. Like, there was a couple of pucks that could have easily gone in that didn't, and after 2 periods, I thought they were good. I thought they were prime ready to own that game, and Chicago, on a back-to-back, found another gear. And they gave up, what were the shots in the third? 7-2.
Yes,
and
that sounds right.
That looks lopsided.
Yep.
But Vegas only gave up 7 shots in the third period. It wasn't like Chicago found this, like, massive resource of energy and plowed through them.
Right.
But Vegas was more in prevent defense instead of on their front foot.
I should correct myself on my stat too. The 15 shots, they didn't get 15 shots through 3 periods were the lowest in franchise history. So apologies. So that was.
But they only allowed 19.
But they only allowed 19.
Like that's
and
low
that's 3
event
games in a row under 20. So
that's a foundation. So people will look at this and go, they've lost 5 in a row with the extra time, 3 in regulation. It's not up to the standards of the Vegas Golden Knights, and that's true. They don't go on this type of stretch very often. I think 4 times they've ever lost 5 in a row, and so this is unique territory, but the foundation, they're not being blown out. They're not being run out of the building. The most pressure that they've faced was 38 shots against Colorado and 100 shot attempts in that game, and they led for most of that game. And so Colorado was pushing, trying to get back from a couple of 2-goal deficits. So I think if there's a positive, it's the foundation is there. They just got to cut down on some of these self-inflicted plays, and I thought yesterday was a good start.
How do you make sense of losing 5 games in a row, but being atop the division?
Nobody else is putting wins together. That's as simply as I can put it. Edmonton hasn't been able to go on a run. Anaheim's falling off its pace right now. Los Angeles hasn't been able to engage in a charge. The one team that's moving is Seattle. They have 1 win in 11 games at one point, and now they're 3 points out of first place. The good news is nobody's separated themselves from Vegas, and Vegas with the point yesterday moves into first place. Mm-hmm. So it's not all doom and gloom. All those points like yesterday, like the points in the shootout losses or overtime, do come in handy, but because nobody's been able to separate themselves, you still have an opportunity to make a real good run at a banner, at a division title. But there's 3 points separating first and sixth in the Pacific Division. So you're going to have to go on a run at some point.
You also have the wild card in the West all bunched together at 42 to 43 points.
And 5 teams from the Pacific are in a playoff spot in the Western Conference. So much discussion about Minnesota and Dallas and Colorado for good reason in the Central, but it's top heavy right now. The parity in the Pacific creates that extra team from our side to cross over. It's going to be a great path. There's 3 points between first and sixth right now in the Pacific Division, with a wild card spot up for grabs in that. It's set up for a great January, March, and April.
Almost exactly halfway through the season.
Yeah,
tomorrow hits the halfway mark.
Right, and the halfway point of the league was on the weekend, so we're there. January, March, and April. That's how you say it now.
January, because no February.
No February.
Yeah, there's three Golden Knights games in February. Yeah. Well, no, then you got the end of February. I have to pull up the calendar. But yes, basically no February. We could just skip it. Don't skip Valentine's Day, though. That'll get you in trouble. You can skip February in your mind, but not Valentine's Day.
What do I do for Valentine's? I should probably get started on that now.
I'll think about that during the commercial break.
I get roses for my girls.
That's great.
That works?
That's great. We'll think of some extra stuff during the commercial breaks. We'll come up with something by the end. And feel free to send your suggestions of what Daren Millard can get his beautiful wife, Jen.
Check in with us wherever you are.
Send us your questions, please, your comments, Valentine's ideas, whatever it might be. We're going to go to break. We are going to talk more about this stretch for the Golden Knights when we come back. But first, Daren, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Celebrate the king of rock and roll with Vegas Golden Knights as they take on the Columbus Blue Jackets on January 8th at T-Mobile Arena. Could we get one more shot? Daren broke out the Elvis bobblehead for this commercial. Who knew he had it under the desk? There he is.
This is one of the greatest bobbleheads I've ever seen.
You've seen a lot of bobbleheads.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's appropriate to call Elvis a bobblehead doll. Bobblehead.
I'm trying to think of a
And it
Elvis
lights up.
pun.
Just stay with me there.
Incredible.
Spotlights.
So special ticket offers begin at $90 and include a limited edition VGK by Elvis bobblehead. Fans are encouraged to dress for the occasion to celebrate the legend's birthday and the impact that he had on Las Vegas. For tickets and more information, visit VegasGoldenKnights.com. Hopefully we will see Daren Millard on the desk in an Elvis wig. Maybe we break out the Elvis wig again. I don't know. Anyways, we'll be right back here. Nighttime at noon. Well, watch your Vegas Golden Knights this season with Nighttime Plus. Download Nighttime Plus today on your smartphone, tablet, computer, or TV to watch the Golden Knights live. Nighttime Plus delivers all locally televised games on Scripps Sports, as well as bonus content created throughout the season. Download and subscribe now to tune in all season long. So I promise we're going to get to more hockey talk, but this isn't numerology. What's the equivalent of numerology? Whatever this is that you've just discovered about the Elvis bobblehead theme night, I need you to share with the class.
Yeah, I was thinking about this.
It's incredible.
if you go through the ticket package online at vegasgoldenights.com, you'll be able to get a ticket to Thursday's game against Columbus, first game back off the road trip. And part of that online ticket package, you get an Elvis bobblehead. So I was thinking, isn't that great? Because it's Elvis's birthday on Thursday. You got the bobblehead of Elvis, the big helmet that comes down that the players skate through.
It's called
you
Elvis.
reminded me. The crew refers to that as Elvis. So all this Elvis discussion coming together. And Columbus is here. And who do they have in goal? An Elvis Merlikins. It's all just, it's happens organically.
Incredible.
But it's kind of cool.
Sounds like everything's pointing in the direction of the Vegas Golden Knights that
Should
night.
Should be.
So
Elvis, are we going to win? Yeah.
Yes.
It's perfect.
That's definitely a yes. I like it. So
It's a pretty cool bobblehead, too.
it is a great bobblehead. I do think you should wear a wig on the pregame show.
Really?
Although your hair is a little Elvis-like right now.
It's little, yeah.
You've got the little piece coming down front. The radio listeners aren't able to see that, but they'll see it when they tune into the pregame show tomorrow night.
See if Chavez is paying attention back there. No, he's not.
No slow zoom on Daren Millard's head.
nothing.
That's okay. That's okay.
I don't get my singles.
So, the Vegas Golden Knights, as we speak, headed to Winnipeg. How does our native Manitoban feel? Do you wish you were on that plane to Winnipeg at the moment?
No. I'm pretty happy to be here with you, given the weather and what January is in Manitoba.
Do you know what the weather is, the temperature is right now in Winnipeg?
No.
It was 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a baby, and that is very cold to me. But that's not that bad for January.
No. For Manitoba in January, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it can change at the snap of a finger. The general manager of the Winnipeg Jets holding media availability today, they're calling it mid-season media availability for Kevin Cheveldayoff, but it's really like a State of the Union conversation because they have not had a great follow-up to a President's Trophy winning season a year ago, 32nd in the National Hockey League. And Vegas goes into that game having dropped 5 in a row, or winless in 5, depending on how you judge the overtime stats in the shootout. So they're in a bad mood. Tell me, going into tomorrow, can you tell the difference between the team that's in first place in this division and the team that's in 32nd in the National Hockey League? It's tough because both coaches are looking for a lot more traction from their team. Vegas is just injury riddled right now and showing signs of some getting out of it. Winnipeg's in a real tough situation. Parity does help them. If they go on a big run, they rip off something like what Buffalo did with 10 games in a row. You can get yourself back in it, but you have to pass so many teams.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo got 20 out of 20 points in a 10-game stretch. They're still not in a playoff spot. So even if you go on a run like that, it doesn't guarantee you putting yourself in the most optimal position. Because
you brought up Vegas's injury situation, I kind of want your take. I feel anytime you use the word injury, and it's understandable, right? This is a deep roster. This is an organization that expects success no matter the situation, and a fan base that does too, and that's something that makes players really enjoy playing here. But there is a difference between an excuse and a reason. I always feel like there's an excuse, and then sometimes there's just maybe a reason that things aren't coming as easily as they are. So I want your take, especially on the decor situation right now. You mentioned that the defensive play is not as bad as the record indicates. But you go into the season and you know you're no longer going to have Alex Pietrangelo. Huge missing piece. So you know that other people are going to have to step up. Well, now you're missing what has been your top pair in both Shea Theodore and Braden McNabb. How are you viewing the situation with the decor right now and what that's like for not only the rest of the defensemen, but the forwards and the goaltenders to try to make up for those absences as well?
Can you play better defensively? Yes. In not giving up grade A chances. They're not giving up a ton of opportunities, but the grade A chances, think about the second and the third goal that Bertuzzi scored yesterday. Those are really tough for a goaltender to stop. It'll look like 20 shots against in total, but 2 great ones, and Schmid made a couple of big saves earlier in the period to buy Vegas some time and get them to overtime. But the reality is Hutton and Korczak were not full-time players last year. They're full-time players right now. So your 7 and 8 defensemen are playing every night. Jacob Megna was recalled from Henderson, wasn't part of the organization. He's not a full-time player this year. He was in the lineup last night. It will cause challenges in matching up other teams' best players. That's a reality. I'll go a step further. Last night, there was one player in the lineup for the Vegas Golden Knights that played in year number one. One player. And that was Zach Whitecloud, who played one game. No Carlson, no McNabb, no Theodore. So you take those players out, that's going to make a difference. Your top D pairing is out. So that's the top heavy part, those big minutes. You're not just two of your top guys, but your top D pair is out. So if people think that that's not going to have an impact, they're kidding themselves. It does. So there is another level for the D core to go to, but right now I cut those guys some slack because of how much they're having to lean on throughout the organization.
A bright spot remains the captain, Mark Stone. Goals in 4 straight games. If he does it again tomorrow, he will set a new personal record for goals in 5 straight. The Winnipeg native, enjoys playing in Winnipeg, at least by the looks of the score sheet. So in 8 regular season games, he has 3 goals and 6 assists for 9 total points. We know that he's performed really well in that building in the playoffs as well, though. These are just regular season numbers. What have you seen from the captain?
Oh, he's going to the net.
What is it about Manitoba guys that just love going back to Manitoba? Keegan Kolesar gets up for it. Brett Howden gets up for it. Mark Stone gets up for it.
Zach Whitecloud.
Shane Knight gets up for it.
We're all home. We head over to the Yellow Dog. We have a couple of pints. We catch up with our friends, and we have some fun. No, that's home. Just like everybody makes a big deal out of Toronto. Everybody going back home in the Toronto area and playing at Scotiabank Arena, and it gives the opposition some jump playing before friends and family. It's equally the same in Winnipeg, except not many teams have that large of a Manitoba contingent on the roster. But as for what Mark is doing, he's going to the net. Hey, look at all his goals lately. They've all been right around the crease area, with the exception of yesterday. Yesterday was 19 feet from the goal line. That's a long goal for Mark Stone. He is top 8 in the National Hockey League for closest proximity to the net for his goals. Just over 6.5 feet. So that's telling to me is he's going to the net, he's getting rebounds, or he's stuffing in loose pucks, and it's been incredible. This is one of the best, if not the best season he's had in his career because of the 16-game absence. The total numbers will be knocked down, but he's playing as good a hockey as I've ever seen him.
And he's earned perhaps the biggest recognition with a spot on the Team Canada roster for the upcoming Olympics.
He wanted so bad.
I like that he wasn't shy about how bad he wanted it either. Sometimes
people can be too cool about it.
Yeah, well, it's not even too cool, but you don't want to sound like you're not focused on your team first, right? Yeah. But what he's done has not only earned him a spot on the Team Canada roster, but it's been massive for his team as well. There's a huge difference when not only just him, but with him and Jack Eichel together in the lineup.
The absence of Mark Stone was as large of an impact on this team as anybody when he wasn't in. From zone entries, breaking up the ice, to the role that he plays in the power play, to 5-on-5. That was a significant piece that was missing. And I think I know I had the conversation with some people around the league that were surprised when I said that, because the automatic thing would have been Eichel coming out would be the biggest loss that you could have. But Stone and Eichel are equally efficient in making things run for the Vegas Golden Knights. It was great to see them on the same line again yesterday.
I was going to say, put them together and it can make an even bigger difference when things are going well for both of them. Have more Olympic stuff to talk about, but first, just want to get back to the team game just a bit, since we're talking about the captain, Mark Stone, and listen to his reaction from last night.
Mark, we've heard some guys say we need to be better. What in particular needs to be better?
It's pretty, I don't know, hard to explain, right? I mean, shots were 15-15 or something like that going into overtime. So against a team on a back-to-back, so you got to try to push to get the next goal, and we weren't able to do it.
Where did things change in your mind? Because you're right, you went into the third with a 2-1 lead.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't give up a ton. Schmidt gave us a huge save early. It was a pretty bland game for the next 10 minutes, and then we gave up the goal. But just a little miscommunication with me and Whitey. We both kind of went to the same guy, so just got to tighten up our net front for sure. Both their goals came around there.
I know that you yourself and also the organization holds itself to a really high standard. So when you go through stretches like this, what is the message? How do you pull out of it?
Yeah, it's a weird stretch. I mean, it's a weird stretch for a lot of teams. It feels like we're playing our worst hockey we've played in a while. We're still right where we want to be as far as, I think we're right around the top of the Pacific, but we know that this type of hockey is not good enough. Just got to play better as a five-man group. We're not executing our breakouts. We're not playing fast. Just not getting those opportunities. Like I said, 15 shots. Usually we're 30, 35 shot team with getting lots of grade A scoring chances, and just don't feel like we're getting those. You
mentioned breakouts. Are there other things you can work on, like in practice or anything, to kind of get back on track, or is it just kind of almost mental or execution at this point?
Yeah, it's for sure. It's execution. We just got to move the puck better. Obviously missing some bodies back there, but that's not an excuse. We got to have guys step up and make the next play. I think that's kind of the message that we've had the last little bit, is making that next play. You get the puck in your stick, you got to make the right play. Look, when we put the pucks, break the puck out, chip the puck in behind them, we're getting a lot of good looks tonight.
You guys have played an awful lot of overtime games, shootout games. Do you look at it, a break here, a break there, and we flip the record a little bit, and it's a lot better? Yeah,
I mean, I definitely think you can look at it that way. We do need to be better in overtime because there's a lot of overtime games just in general in the league. I thought we'd be first in the league in overtime games by a mile, but it's not the case. Everybody seems to be going into overtime. And you want to win at least 50% of those games, right? I think we've only won 3 or 4, so it's not enough. We've been in 15 or 16. We win half those, you're sitting a lot better, but we haven't. So we have to get better, 5-on-5 and win games in regulation.
You don't have a lot of experience going through stretches like this. What's the mental approach that you want to have? Do you want to stay positive, or do you want to be angry?
Well, it's an interesting question. It's hard to, you want a little bit of both, right? You don't want to get down on each other, but you also want to hold each other to a high standard, a high accountability. Like I said, when guys go to lineup, we're missing our top pair defense. You want everybody just get a little bit better. And as forwards, when you're missing your top pair defense as well, you need to elevate your game to help. We got guys, playing bigger minutes than they're used to. You got to help and support best way you can, but also you want to hold guys accountable to make the right plays.
Great work by Jamie Hirsch and Gary Lawless, taking us inside the mind of the Golden Knights captain after last night's loss. We might talk about that some more. We will definitely answer your questions, so keep sending them in. And some other things.
I have some overtime numbers.
Okay.
For people.
Okay.
Just to put a little bit of a softer edge on things.
Let's hear it.
Can I do it after the break?
After the break. This is the host right here. He knows that we're supposed to get to break, so he just wants to let us know it's coming.
Well, I don't want Kevin getting mad at us.
We can't wait to hear what he has dug up when we come back. This is Nighttime at Noon, and we will be right back on the flip side of this break. Not even going to waste any time. Daren, what numbers did you dig up on the Golden Knights and overtime this season?
So this is fueled by what Mark said last night. I immediately dug it up as we got off the air on our postgame show on Script Sports following the loss against the Chicago Blackhawks in overtime. Mark said, I thought we would be far and away the busiest team when it comes to overtime because they've been there 16 times. He said, we're not. I'm like, well, who's close to them? We kind of get into our own little bubble. The Golden Knights lead the league in 16 games going beyond regulation, but Montreal and Minnesota both have 15 games going to overtime, along with Los Angeles. So 3 teams within 1 of Vegas, and then 2 more, Columbus and Philadelphia, are at 14. You've got multiple teams, 26 teams in double digits.
Halfway through the season.
27 teams, sorry.
Which is
in
very
double
impressive.
Digits. Yeah,
it's great.
So everybody's going to overtime a ton, and some teams are able to make up points. Montreal has 3 more wins than losses in overtime. That's only 3 more points. You got to remember that too. You can make up ground. The records look more impactful than they actually are.
Because that's also 16 points that you've gotten at minimum.
Right.
We're making it to overtime.
Exactly.
Not good if you gave up a lead to get there, especially a late lead.
But even if you're 500, you're only getting 8 more points. You're not getting that
16 points. Yeah.
That big jump. I'm not taking away the disappointment of not being productive in overtime, but what was a subtle mention by Mark that resonated with me was they've kind of moved past the we gotta find a way to win these games in overtime. We gotta find a way to come out on top in the shootout. For some reason it's not their jam right now. But Mark said, and I'll paraphrase, the best way to nullify the impact of overtime is to win the games during regulation, win the games on 5-on-5, and that's where they can be better. And you also take away points from the opposition when you get into more divisional games. That'll be important. But that's one thing. Although, like against St. Louis the other night, you needed them to get to overtime.
Yeah.
And against Chicago last night, when the late game minor penalty was called, you're like, let's just get it to overtime. So there is still a little bit of let's get points and then take our chances in overtime. But I like Stone's aggressive thinking of just, hey, win it in regulation. If we're not going to be good in overtime right now, again, I'm paraphrasing, win it in the third period.
Since we are back to talking about the Manitoba native, we've received some not great news from the travel party. Yellow Dog in Winnipeg, Daren's favorite spot, is closed on Mondays.
It's closed on Mondays.
So our travel party will not even get to enjoy Yellow Dog.
No, it's sad. It's one of the great
you got to look up those things
hole
before
in the
you
wall
go and make the
establishments.
recommendations, Daren. Come on.
Cousin Greg will be happy about that he's getting a lot of mentions in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yellow Dog's big in Vegas. No, we've had some fun at the Dog.
You know who would have loved Yellow Dog? The Golden Knights dads.
Keaton Colasar's a big Yellow Dog guy
Is
too.
he?
Yeah.
All right.
The dads. This is the first time they ever went on a trip and didn't see a win.
Yeah, tough dad's trip from that standpoint. I would imagine a lot of fun was had still, but tough dad's trip from that standpoint.
Do you have a favorite dad to talk to?
I have multiple for different reasons.
Bob Eichel. Yeah, okay, there it is.
Jinx. Bob Eichel is just a beauty. I don't know how else to describe him. It's the best word you can use to describe him. He's awesome.
He's the most fun, unique, entertaining, down to earth, grounded dad that I've ever met.
And it's incredible you see it in Jack. It makes Jack make even more sense. You can
He's
see
opinionated.
Their relationship is funny. Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's incredible. And I don't think he means to be entertaining. He's just who he is.
Yes.
But man, oh man, is he fun to spend some time with.
Unbelievable. And if you didn't catch it on the pregame show, I know we talked to Jack about this. I think it was 2 years ago. And then Bob mentioned it to Jamie in the pregame interview that she did with him in St. Louis. But he would take Jack out of school and say it was a dentist appointment. And then Jack's like probably 10 years old at this point, and he would take him to go play men's league with his buddies. Just hoping that the school didn't pick up on the fact that Jack had that many dentist appointments.
But you know what? That's a smart dad too.
It worked.
It's all about the win.
It worked.
So you got the slap squatches, have a big game, and dad needs needs a win, so he takes little Jack out there.
Yep.
That's a smart dad. It's not the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Taking your son, but it is the first time I've heard of a future NHLer being part of that
Right,
mix.
Exactly. Hey, he knew.
Most times the dads are overvaluing the contribution that their kid's going to make.
No, Bob was right. Bob knew we had something. Bob was on to something. Way to go, Bob.
Was on it. Who else do you love?
Sheldon Howden is very similar to Brett Howden in that he's a little bit more on the reserved side, but is so willing to do anything that you ask him to do. So willing to talk, so kind, so sweet. Is that a weird word to use? Is sweet a weird word to use? When
I think that works certainly with
that's
Brett.
I feel bad singling people out because the dads are all so awesome in there.
Do you feel like we've watched Brett more than anybody grow up before our eyes?
That's a very good point. The Brett that came over here from the New York Rangers, that was actually my first season as well with the Golden Knights. So I don't know if it was between him being more reserved or me being more reserved to having not knowing anyone around here. But yeah, I agree with that.
But
sure.
Emotionally, certainly in a hockey point of view, like where he was when he arrived, raw, big potential, great junior career, high draft choice, great prospect, but needed to be unlocked. Played that bottom six role for the longest time, and then has really grown into, I think, a pretty influential voice in that room.
Influential voice in the room. The way he plays makes a big difference. He can play anywhere in the lineup. We're talking about
and has some
injuries.
bite. Yes, he's got more for one of our top five guys. I believe that he makes both of our lists. Top 5 nice guys in hockey. He's got some significant bite.
He does. That's one of the best parts of this game. There's a lot of great parts of this game. But it is funny when you watch the guys who do play with a lot of bite I'm not comparing him to this, but you think about Brad Marchand and how people think of him on the ice versus off the ice.
Here's a Brett Howden story.
Right?
Do we have time for a quick Brett Howden story?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'll get to skate with the guys every now and then. And sometimes it's in their return to play where it's just a few of us on the ice, and sometimes it's the full practice. And we were doing one of those hybrid skates where it was an optional, but we were out there a little bit before the team. And Brett came down and took a shot and actually stopped one. And he said something. He said something like, "Good job, Daren." I'm like, thanks. And then he skates. He does a twirl around and comes back and says, should I call? And we've known each other for years by this point. And this was a month and a half ago. He comes by and says, do I call you Daren? Or like, what do people call you? Like, it's slang or in casual environments. And I said, well, some people call me Millard. Most people call me Millard. But Daren's fine. It's my given Christian name. So
Mr. Daren.
Yeah, Mr. Daren. I said, but I'll be honest. Nobody's ever asked me that. Never mind a professional athlete saying, "What to be more comfortable? What should I do? More casual? What should I call you?" And so he still hasn't called me Millard yet, but I thought that was like one of the nicest examples, one of the great examples.
Next time I get to chat with Brett at intermission, I'm going to ask him to send it back up to Millard and see if he'll do it.
I thought, like, where is that in your bingo card of a guy coming by and going, "Hey, we're close enough now. What do I call you?" And I call him Howie.
Only one person's allowed to call you Mally.
Yes, that's DE.
Darren Elliott. So we'll hear Mally. We'll hear a bunch of Mallies tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm not a big fan of Mally, but if you've played in the Olympics, you can do it.
Speaking of Olympics, let's talk about all of the Golden Knights representation.
How about, and still more to come.
Yes.
Because a couple of federations haven't announced their team, and I'm still waiting for it. Hurdle's not official. Schmid's not official. But Ronbjerg's going to go. Kind of flies under the radar with Denmark. And the Team Canada contribution with Stone and Theodore being on that team. Mitch Marner, kind of, because we're still getting used to Mitch Marner playing for the Vegas Golden Knights. Hanifin and Eichel, I love that Noah's on the team. What an opportunity there. It's very cool. I think it's really interesting. Canada is really skilled, and they've gone that road. And the Americans are full of sandpaper and grit. The two nations have flipped.
Which will prevail?
Yeah, normally it's always been Canada being the intimidating force with sandpaper and beat you in the alley and take your chances in the straight, and the Americans were always skilled. It's totally reversed itself for 2026.
And I know there's plenty of debates that could be had about some people who were left off the Team USA roster.
I can't believe the Americans left off their highest producing guy in Jason Robertson.
It is shocking.
Even as an extra, last year I get it because he was hurt. He had surgery in the summer.
Tough comeback for him as well.
Slow start. He didn't even expect to make Four Nations face-off. But I cannot believe that the guys that made it are great. But to leave off your highest point producer in the National Hockey League this year, that's a brave decision. And Canada made a few bold moves as well.
I don't disagree with you. I would have had Jason Robertson on there without question. But there is something in Bill Guerin's press conference I like that he said they were talking about a number of guys who were left off who were among the top producers in the NHL. And he said if it was only based on that, we wouldn't need a general manager.
Good point.
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
And you
we'll see. We will find out in February.
Year to year, you should have changes on your roster. People that were like, well, it's 1 year. Why didn't they roll back the Four Nations? You should have, because guys have good years. They deserve to play their way onto the team. Hence, general manager.
Well, you're lucky that we are going to a break because I was ready to really rub in the fact that Canada was knocked off by Czech, the World Juniors.
Let's talk about the quarterfinals.
It's 12:48. I think we got to go to a break. But first, can't get enough
that
Knights
when
hockey.
We finished higher.
The Henderson Silver Knights. Well, okay, just because it's back-to-back years. That's all.
It's 3 straight.
I
meant
back-to-back years by Czech, though, right?
Oh, 3 straight.
3 straight all by Czech. Yeah, okay.
Not that we're keeping track in Canada.
I didn't go back far enough. I apologize.
I think we've found our Achilles heel.
Can't get enough Knights hockey. The Henderson Silver Knights are on the ice at Lee's Family Forum this season. With ticket options fit for any group, witness the next generation of Golden Knights live. Visit HendersonSilverKnights.com to purchase your tickets. We'll be right back, and we will answer your questions right after this. Don't you wish you could keep up with VGK right at the touch of your screen? Well, now you can with the official mobile app of the Vegas Golden Knights. You can scan, buy, and transfer tickets, play new exclusive games, access live stats, receive game updates, and so much more. The official mobile app of the Vegas Golden Knights is available now on your smartphone through the App Store and Google Play. It's what we love about technology these days. We also love that our fans can submit some comments and questions. So we have some for you, Daren. First, coming from Kelly Sims on X, wants to know, is the Pacific Division the worst division in the league?
No. It's got the lowest first place team from a point total perspective, but there's 5 teams in the playoffs. So you win the crossover 5-3 from the Pacific to the Central. So it can't be the worst. Top heavy, the top 3 teams in the National Hockey League are from the Central, but depth-wise, the Pacific Division is very competitive in that. So be careful how you judge things, Kelly. Just from me to you, just be careful.
With that in mind, you also don't want to be a Central Division team in January, March, or April right now because you're likely going to have to play those top 3 teams multiple times, but that doesn't mean...
And one of those teams is going out in the first round, and there's a good chance the second one's going out in the second round because of 2-3.
They're going to have to play each other. Yeah, exactly.
So let them... It's nice to have the top 3 teams in the league, but you're only going to have to deal with one of them at most.
This is from... I don't want to mispronounce. Mary Kaline, 1391. Loved Coach's comments that the team will start winning when they start hating to lose. She's referencing Bruce Cassidy's post-game comments, which I liked on your post-game show, Scripps post-game show. You said it was not scorched earth, but made the point.
It was an honest assessment, but didn't bury anybody. And I've been around a few press conferences in the past where coaches just take the whole roster and throw it under the bus and back over a couple of times. It's not pretty, and the players kind of get upset with that. Nobody can argue with what they heard yesterday. Bruce said there's some execution that's holding them back, or lack of execution. And I ran through some of those plays on the goals against yesterday. But you got to get to a point of hating losing. And he's brought that up a couple of times. This group is very patient.
In his tenure here, not just this season.
Right.
It's not every season we've gone through a point where Bruce Cassidy has said you have to hate losing enough to do something about it.
This core group is extremely resilient and patient. There's not a lot of panic or emotion in what they display going through flat stretches. So I get sometimes wanting more, like let me go out and just run somebody over for the sake of running somebody over. They don't do that. They let it work itself out. Or in 2023, the All-Star game came at the right point, and that break was awesome. So maybe Bruce is just trying to get a little emotion out of them with those comments. But the enough is enough that's the soundbite. That everybody will resonate with, and hopefully the players do as well.
And you've kind of answered the question of what's wrong on the ice. You've gone through different things that you've seen. You've gone through injuries, so that was our last question coming from...
Not as much wrong on the ice as
it looks.
As
the results indicate.
The results say. So you're missing people. You're missing some really important people. It's not an excuse. Everybody's missing people. But I do see a lot of positives in the individual positives are there. The defensive foundation is there. Now you just got to be tighter and avoid those self-inflicted plays. The bounces yesterday started going towards Vegas, so there's a lot to like about this team. Now Chicago's missing a pretty important guy yesterday too. So
Connor something.
Connor
Bedard.
Is that
Bedard? That's the one.
No,
that makes
McDavid guy
a
plays
big difference.
And Nazar. So you'd like to have been able to pull that out, but it was by a hair that they didn't get the review. And I think the review is the right call, the offside.
Well, we have the music going. I can't believe it.
Danny's cutting us off.
Time flies when you're having fun. And
Jeff
that is
and
the only
Kevin.
thing I have when I'm with Daren Millard is all the fun in the world. Be sure to tune in to the game tomorrow night on Scripps Sports. Of course, you can listen to the radio call as well.
We'll do a therapy session at 4 o'clock today on the Insider Show.
Sounds good. Be sure to tune in, everybody. Daren's got more up his sleeve as always. This was Nighttime at Noon, and we'll see you next week.